experience with a doppelganger. Till this day, this story has puzzled me to no end. I should say from the very beginning that I was young. But I remember this incident vividly because of how scared I felt. And my parents have confirmed some aspects of this story. So some background. Born and raised in Miami to Honduran parents. So being Hispanic, spiritualism and religion sort of walk hand in hand for some. I grew up in an apartment building with a huge front yard. My mother would let me play outside with our front door because she could easily keep an eye on me. And the front yard was completely fenced, so I couldn't wander into the street. So, on this particular day, I'm playing outside like any other normal day. And I remember that my mom is inside cooking. Like always, our front door is open, and I know for sure that my mom is inside. But that's when I hear it. Someone is calling out to me. I look around and I don't see anyone, so I continue to play. But then I hear it again. Someone trying to get my attention. I look towards the end of our front yard, and behind the fence I see my mum. She's standing there waving and smiling at me, trying to get me to go to her. I start laughing and running towards her because here I am thinking we're playing a game. As I'm closer to this person, something doesn't feel right. Like something is telling me not to trust this person, but I'm torn because I'm looking straight at my mother. It's her voice, her face, even the distinct white streak of hair my mum has that contrast her jet black hair. But still, something doesn't feel right. I ask her what she's doing on the other side of the fence, and she tells me that we must go, that I need to follow her now. She starts to walk towards the fence door, and I begin to follow her, almost entranced. She begins to tell me how much she loves me and that we need to leave together. As we get closer to the fence door, she starts to tell me that I must open it and walk out to be with her. I don't know what overcame me, but I said no. This upset my mom and her demeanor changed. She starts to yell that I had to do it, that we needed to be together now. This scares me and I began to cry. And then I hear it. My mom's voice coming from my house, asking where I am. I run towards my house, bawling in hysterics. I see my real mother and I hug her and I tell her what happened. I tell her about the lady that looked like her, trying to get me to leave. And I just remember my mom hugging me and telling me that it was just in my imagination. Years later, this incident comes up in a conversation I'm having with my parents, and my mum is completely amazed that I remembered all of it so vividly. She also adds that weird things used to happen in that building, and that she suspects that the only reason that thing couldn't get into the property was because of an old Cuban lady that lived next to us. You see, it turns out that she practiced Santeria, and she was constantly blessing the grounds. So honestly, shout out to that lady. Here's where things take a very interesting turn. While me and my mom are reminiscing about what happened, my father is completely silent. And when we finished, he's in shock he didn't know about this happening to me, and he proceeds to tell us that when he was a child in Honduras. The same thing happened to him. A woman that looked like my grandmother would sometimes go by his house and tell him that they needed to leave to be together. My father is your typical male. Everything by the books, no nonsense, very skeptical about all this stuff. But at that moment, I saw fear in him.